goodness. And we are back. This is the Sound for Your Ears podcast. I am your gracious, humble, generous, wonderful host, Phil Bevers, coming to you live from the Bay One Entertainment studio in East Williamsburg, right above a glass and metal workshop that sometimes is overly loud and borderline inconsiderate. Now, do I understand that the tools you have to use to cut glass and metal are loud as fuck because it takes a lot of power to do that? Yes. Am I going to be forgiving and or understanding to the relative plights that they have to go through? Because it's probably even louder for them down there. Am I going to be that way? No. So we're just going to have to work with that because I'm not going to give them any excuses, right? We're doing content. We're doing entertainment. That's obviously the most important thing in the world. So get the fuck out of my face. You guys are being way too loud. Now, it's quiet right now because it's Saturday. So we don't have to worry about that. So maybe we just do this like this every day, every Saturday. But sometimes Saturdays aren't open for us because unfortunately with a production company, you work all the fucking time. So let's get right fucking into it, shall we? As I mentioned before on this podcast, right now I work at a camera, audio, video store. And it's in New York, and it's one of the like kind of not flagship necessarily, but it's one of the ones that's actually like competent, like has a lot of things. And, you know, we offer a lot of services and not education necessarily, but, you know, expertise on equipment, on some techniques and stuff like that. So we get a lot of, you know, famous people in. We get a lot of people who are well known in their different industries and stuff like that because everyone needs media, right? So everyone comes in, especially these days with social media. Everyone's coming in. So sometimes there's people who like, you know, I know of or like everyone knows of or we get famous people that come in every once in a while. But my favorite is when it's people like comedians or any kind of like podcasters really that I listen to, or people who have a show where they're, you know, kind of revealing things that happen in their life, things that happen in real time, stuff like that. And it's like people whose content and media I consume. And sometimes I have to, like, one of the first thoughts that comes up in my head is to like act a fool and see if they'll talk about me on their show. But then also, I'm at work. It would be easier if I was out in public and it didn't really matter what I was doing because it's public and it's New York and people are fucking psychos all the time. But I feel like they would be less likely to say something. Whereas, like, if I were to be not a dickhead necessarily, but a little out there while they were having a shopping experience, I feel like they'd be more inclined to talk about it. But I don't do it every time because honestly, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be a dickhead like that. And like I said, I'm at work. And the last thing I need is someone like with a good, like a platform to tell my manager or my boss that like I'm acting a fool because then it looks bad for the company on a public level. Cause then they'll be like, oh, fuck this place. And I'll be like, oh, well, that's my fault. Like explicitly, you know what I mean? And to be responsible for that is something that I just don't want to do, you know, something that I don't care to do. So that's fun. Another thing about working there is that I have learned I can't stand French people.
Hey, what's up? This is Phil from the editing room, editing this podcast. Yeah, I know I talked about this already in the last episode. Okay, so I did. What are you gonna do? And if you're French and you don't like it, write me an email or some shit. Or shut up. Okay, back to it.
I hate them, actually. It's the only group I'm getting a thumbs up from someone else in the studio. I can't fucking stand them. They're the worst people to interact with, in or outside of the store that we work at, because they have the least amount of patience, they have the least amount of respect, and it's just like they're even when they're wrong, they're not willing to listen to other people's perspective, or even like the facts or knowledge that they know that other people know for a fact, if it's not within their like frame of what they want, it just doesn't matter, right? Which is a bullshit way to live, right? Um, so what I've decided is that I'll no longer be accepting conversations from French people anymore. And by the way, don't get it wrong, I'm also French. Like that's a large part of my genetic background. It comes from the French region, right? So as one of y'all, or I guess a former one of y'all, because my family's been in America for a long time, fuck you. And I will no longer be accepting conversations from you anymore. You have to either speak to me through speak and spell, like you need to like text it and then have another voice speak it that doesn't have a French accent, because I'm already biased. As soon as I hear the accent come out, I'm biased, right? And I hate you immediately because I'm going to assume just like y'all assume. And also, I understand this might just be a Parisian thing. Maybe like countryside French people are nice. I to be honest, I don't care, right? Because every other country, especially France, lumps every American with each other. So guess what? Taste of your own fucking shitty ass snail flavored medicine, right? And I know, oh, we don't only eat escargot. We don't only eat frogs. I don't care. I don't care. Do you want me to say baguette flavored? No, because that's bread. We all have bread. Duh, idiot. I had to do the thing that y'all are known for. You would say cheeseburger flavored or some dumb shit like that, or whatever you guys want to use to offend us, even though we're not offended by anything that the French say. We could really give a fuck. You guys throw poop on all of your buildings, which in a protest matter, awesome. Outside of that, if you aren't looking at it from a protest context, that's fucking insane that you guys are just ready to go with the poop, ready to just let it fly at any architecture that you've deemed unworthy of whatever it is y'all are doing. So you have to talk to me through speak and spell, or I will accept the French accent if you speak to me with like the ex cigarette smoker, like that thing you put on your throat, a stoma. If you speak to me through a stoma, then maybe I could take it. Because I feel like it would just kind of be like, hello, it's nice to meet you. I would like to buy a camera. I would like to get a microphone for the camera. How am I supposed to know that this is the right one for my camera? Like I could take that because that's kind of funny, honestly. Wow, I can't believe how hard I just pushed down on my throat. Hope my little float. Ooh. But no, I've realized I think the best people to work with, honestly, are like Germans, because when you tell them no, we don't have something, they're like, okay, yeah, you don't have it. That's fine. That's totally fine. Honestly, like, I didn't even expect you to have it. I kind of knew that you didn't. And it's like, I don't think that you knew that. I think you were coming in hoping I had it. Yeah, maybe, but whatever. Okay, sure, man. You have a good day. Yeah, have a good one. Okay. Sounds good, man. Quite a few German people who have come in and worked with me before, especially because I work the register a lot at there. So, by the way, if you come to Adorama, I might be the one. If you come on a Friday, I will be the one checking you out. Okay. Physically, emotionally, and also financially, I'll be checking you out with your final transaction. It's my job. It's literally my job to give you the up down. You know what I mean? To give you the ocular pat down, as Mac from Always Sunny would say. And I am allowed legally to do that. It's private business. Learn bylaws, okay? It's in my contract. I'm allowed to do ocular pat down, right? Because I am technically the head of security. That's not true. Please don't say that to them. Who else is like a good customer to have? The Irish are really good. I think because of like the famine and like all that kind of stuff, I think they have like this innate like, I'm sorry I even asked if we don't have something, or like so whatever they were wanting to do doesn't work. They are automatically like, yeah, you're right, actually. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to inconvenience you. Like, I have a good one. Like, okay, see ya. They get out quick as fuck. As soon as the conversation's over, they like, pew, like it's like a smoke dust form of where their body once was. Like they're fucking out of there. They will turn their back and they will walk the fuck out. So they're pretty easy to work with. a lot of the time. They're also always so happy when you do have it, right? Which is like the bare minimum for a retail store that sells certain equipment to have is the equipment that they say that they're going to sell, right? That's what you should already have. Like that's the baseline is stock, right? Supply and demand. There's a demand always, like I said, everyone always needs media. So then you must keep supply. And if you don't keep supply, and this is me slightly calling out the company I work for, if you don't have the supply, then you'll lose the demand because then it goes unanswered and it goes unfulfilled, which is not incentivizing towards. I can't believe there was a fucking piece of toilet paper, not toilet paper, paper towel there the entire time I've been recording. 10 minutes I've been recording right now. 10 minutes. And no one said anything about the paper towel. Was it? No one can hear the voice off mic, so it's fine. You are interrupting a show. Thank you very much. You're interrupting a show. Nope, no one's lying. No one's lying. It is my responsibility to take it off, and I didn't. So actually, it was a choice. So anyone who says that it was a mistake is actually wrong. So interesting, isn't that? Isn't that interesting? Oh, I gotta give an update to the bear saga from the last episode. I have looked more into bear videos. Still just as terrifying. I actually I went on like a little YouTube jaunt of bear videos where people are like getting attacked or seeing them in the wild, because after the last episode, it made me think that like maybe I should like reacclimate myself to bears a little bit more in a friendlier context. And I'm still just as scared. If I were to see one in the wild, I think I would freeze up for a second. And then I think like the like camping emergency training kind of like experience that I have would kick in, but I still think I would be absolutely terrified if I were to see a bear in the wild. Because I feel like they're much bigger than you really expect them to be when you actually see them like face to face. I feel like you would see and be like, oh wait, that thing is actually, I almost said that thing is a bear, as in like a metaphor, I guess. Nope. I meant that as a real bear. I have always wanted to like pet a bear. So I think I'm going to try and find a way to do that and make footage of it so that I can like post it and we can watch it on the show. I'm going to make this a whole saga of me becoming best friends with a bear. And I am worried though that in this quest, I will end up getting mauled by a bear, but that's okay with me. Actually, that is okay with me because I'm setting it out and at least I'm committing to something. You know what I mean? At least I'm doing something with it. Yeah, honestly. we just recorded an episode of the Bowcast, which like shout out to the Bowcast. Watch it every Friday. It'll be coming out every week on Friday. I guess I'll just shout out the other show. Shout out to the Sidcast. That'll be coming out every Wednesday. This will be a Monday podcast. So we get a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Your week is just chock fucking full of content. So I hope you're ready. You fucking You know what I mean? I'm gonna go in a little bit of a weird direction. I had a friend tell me the other day, he's a gay man. He told me that sometimes when he sees a hot guy, that his butthole will pulse, which is kind of crazy. But also, I think I've experienced that before, to be honest with you. Although I can't give you a specific, like as soon as he said it, I was like, that doesn't seem like outlandish to me for a thing to happen, right? I obviously you could get like, a chub or a semi, as some guys will know. But like a butt pulse, maybe that's something like when you just are in that area, interacting with that area a lot, you become more sensitive and like more in tune to those changes. And maybe that becomes like kind of like a reactive area, right? How like some people when they get scared, like their hands start to sweat or like their knees get weak, maybe that with interaction and with time kind of going on as you continue to use it and Interact is the best word I think I can get. Immerse yourself with your the sensitivity of your butthole. maybe it, maybe it becomes like that's your spidey sense, right? Is that like you just get like a pulse and it's just like someone's near me or like someone, I wonder if you could Pavlov yourself to have like your butt pulse when something happens when you hear a certain thing. So like, but how do you like give the stimulation to give that like response, right? Because like with a dog, when you train them, right, you go sit and you either give them pets, you give them treats or something, you give them something to like positive reinforcement. What's the positive reinforcement for your butt, right? Is it like you fingering your butt or are you like giving it like a little smack? Or I don't know. Maybe you do like a Kegel, right? So you like tighten it up a little bit when you're trying to work. Also, what would you want to like? What kind of sound would you want to like a doorbell? No, I wouldn't want to do a doorbell. Oh my god, it'd be awful. Every time someone like knocks on the door or rings the doorbell, then it's just like ugh, like you tighten up for a second. That's a fear response. Like sometimes when I get scared, like my whole body will tense, especially like my butt. Um, and I think that's like a sign for my body to like telling me to be like, dude, get up, whatever you're doing, get up and just get ready for whatever it is, right? Like, well, I'll watch a horror movie and like, dude, I'm tightening up like a boa constrictor, right? She just, tweet, tweet, right? If you if you were to try and push air out, you would hear, tweet, tweet, like you'd hear the tweet, it would go up, right? Because it's tightening, so it's just like that whistle tone. Um, yeah, but I think aren't we all looking for someone who makes our butthole pulse when we see them? I feel like that's what we're all striving for is that kind of like physical, visceral reaction. Some people get like the pit in their stomach. Some people have like their heart start beating. They get a little bead of sweat. Some people like their ears get hot. Obviously, we all know about the pupils dilating kind of thing. But that I think is another level of attraction and desire. And I mean honestly lust, right? If we're really being honest of what that area is and what it's involved with and those who it's associated with, you know, by proxy. Um is definitely like a lust thing for sure. But, you know, whatever. It's getting warm in New York. It is now mid-March. So it's starting to get warm. Which means that white guys are wearing pastel and neon shorts to remind people that most white guys think a brightly colored piece of clothing makes an outfit fashionable. That is what I wrote down, which I totally agree. And I am absolutely guilty of this sometimes where I'm like, if I wear all neutral or like black and white, right? Or gray, I can have like one pop of color and that's an outfit, right? That's how fashion works. And that's maybe in the 90s, maybe in the 2000s, but that's just not how it works anymore. Monochrome is not as, unless it's like all black Rick Owens, you know what I mean? Or like Balenciaga. But even now, like we're getting out of that territory where like colors are coming back, right? Spring, and then we'll go into summer because that's how seasons work. But I can't wait now for the next few weeks when the same white guys who follow the pastel thing start making their entrance into open-toed shoes at a bar at night era. Not era, but like season. That's one of the craziest things about this place is sometimes guys from Jersey or Connecticut will come in and be wearing like Tivas at a bar at night. Hey man, what are you doing? Put the fucking barkers away. The dogs are loose and they need to be kenneled. You should be wearing. It's crazy to be in general, honestly, to wear open-toed shoes in this city because I feel like 3% of our air at all times is like piss particles. Because there's pee on everything in this place. Everything. Your hands will touch it inevitably. Your shoes covered in piss. Your clothes probably have piss, especially if you sit on the subway. There's definitely some form of piss on you at all times, right? Perpetually pissed on is what I call it. Perpetual piss. Um, so to me, if it's not an outside bar and it's not daytime, if you're like your toes should only be out if the sun can kiss them. That's what I think, right? If you're out at a park, obviously open fucking season. Take them out, let them breathe, let them hang, let them speak to the world, right? Let them fucking yell out into the abyss. Okay? Cuz at that point, I get it. Get your vitamin D, get your exposure, get what you need to kind of keep the day going, make yourself feel good, make yourself, feel monkey again. That's what I call it whenever I get into nature and I have this like feeling of like, oh, okay, like I'm outside of the constructs of the human mind. So I'm like a monkey again. You can climb on trees, you can put, ass to grass. You can honestly, there's such a weird thing of like when you haven't done it in a while, but having your feet get on grass, like bare feet. Because we wear shoes all the time, so we're just not used to like the sensitivity of like the butt. Because bottom of your feet are fucking super sensitive. Uh, I think we all forget what blades of grass sometimes feel like on our feet. So when you get back into it and your body's like, I don't know what this is. I don't like it. It's not the feeling of the inside of cloth, like a sock or a shoe. But I miss that feeling. I'm excited to get back to it. I don't know. I'm not a huge beach guy, so I don't necessarily want to go. Although sand is nice, right? But the New York beaches suck ass. So really, if you're gonna do it, you gotta like go to Jersey or like go to Long Island, like out far enough to where like it's quiet, you know? But who wants to go all the way to the Hamptons if you don't have a house? You know what I mean? Fuck that. I would love to go to like a lake, like a dirt riverbed that just slopes into the water. That would be very nice. Uh, yeah. Excited to get back to nature. Need it very badly. Going to Houston, or I'm going to Texas in June. So it'll be nice to. I'll probably try and get some foot on grass time while I'm out there. I usually do, especially in the summer. But dude, oh man, I tell you what, there's a lot of things I miss about Texas. Houston summers, I do not miss in the slightest. I always tell people because like when it gets to a certain point of the summer, every time you go outside, you're swimming because the humidity is just ridiculous out there. Humidity gets so bad, like your shirt immediately sticks to your fucking skin. I mean, you can already forget about not having your balls stick to the inside of your leg. It's happening. It's going to fucking happen. And you're just gonna have to. I've learned how to do like a cradle almost, with like the part of the cloth where you would like pull it apart for like the pee hole. There's a way with those not stitches, but what are they called? Like whatever. Seams. Like where they're sewing cloth together. There's a way to kind of like cradle it like up, like around the package to give yourself a little bit of hang time. No, to give yourself a little bit of like protection. It's not gonna last long, especially if you're walking around. If you're sitting, you're golden. But if you're walking around, it's game over. Like shit's coming out. Um, and that's the nature of the beast. So then every once in a while, you kind of got to do like the side step, the little like, you know, tear them bitches off your fucking thigh. Especially if you've got the inner chub, or like if you've got bigger legs, it's game over. If your thighs touch together, like around the same area as like your genitals, it's over. It's over. You're getting a rash or you're getting chafed or like it's at least gonna sweat and like be sensitive at the end of the day, even if you don't get that like kind of like red, kind of like rashy thing on your skin. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But that's the price we pay for wearing clothes. If we were to go naked, it wouldn't happen. That's all I'm saying. I wonder if it does. I wonder if at like a nude beach, if it still sticks to your if it still sticks to like the inside of your leg. If you're like walking around, it's like, it's pulling right. The sack is pulling right while you're hanging brain to the left, or while you're hanging dick to the left a little bit. I've never been to a nude beach. I would definitely go though. I think I would go. I already have issues taking off my shirt at the beach, like at this point. Although, I know there's like it's kind of like the gym where like you think that everyone's looking, but in reality, no one gives a fuck. Because if you're not looking, no one else is looking, and if they are, fuck them. You know what I mean? So I think I would do a nude beach, but should I trim? Like, should I groom myself for it? Should I make like a fashion statement? You know, like some girls wear bikinis specifically or like a one piece specifically for the fashion statement of like, I'm going to be seen. Do you think some people do like a landing strip or like the Riley Reid triangle just to, just to go on the nude beach? Nick, would you go on a nude beach? Yeah. Yeah, I would too. I think especially if depending on who I'm with. If I'm with friends, probably not. But like if I'm with like I wouldn't go on a nude beach with you, unfortunately, Nick. I'm sorry. But yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, you only want to go if it's with me. Yeah, I don't blame you. I would go with a partner though for sure. Oh, good, a siren in the background. I love this city. I love it. Although things are being getting way more dangerous. If you didn't know, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit on the next Sidcast, but uh, there was a bad shooting in. I mean, it wasn't like multi people, it wasn't mass shooting or anything like that, but there was like a bad altercation on the New York subway recently, and it's very ironic. It's been blowing up in the news because recently we found out that there's a bunch of National Guard and more police officers in the subway, even though they don't fucking do anything. They sit on their fucking phone and they play Candy Crush or they play whatever dumb game. They scroll on Instagram, like spitting game at bad bitches and like trying to get their dick wet. You know what I mean? Like it's so lame, dude. I also saw a cop recently. I saw a video of a cop saying like gang lingo, like look like street gang lingo. So it's like, they're not even trying to hide the fact that like there's clearly some kind of like street corruption within the cops. Although we all know it, but like, usually they were trying to hide it a little bit. Now it's just straight out and about, like to our faces. So really, really love that. That's a good time. But yeah, it's been an interesting time in New York. Who knows? Who knows how things are gonna go? Sometimes I think about moving, but also I think I'd get so bored anywhere else. To be quite honest, I think the only other place I could go without getting crazy bored would be two places: Houston and Chicago. Right? I don't want to move to LA. I could give a fuck about living in California, especially with the way that the government works out there is just awful. Like their state government sucks ass dick. Yeah, ass dick. I said it, ass dick. Um, But Chicago, I've always heard is kind of like New York. Like it's the closest another city gets to New York without obviously being New York because you can't. So I think I would. I think I could live there. And then Houston is like a no brainer just because I'm from there. I know what I could do out there. I have way more contacts, so I don't think I would get that bored. Especially because it's not that far from Austin and San Antonio. So doing like a day trip or something or like a weekend trip is pretty easy. It is crazy. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I'll say it again. It is crazy to me how close everything is here relative to like how Texas is. And I know that my northern friends always hate when I talk about this, but uh like in Houston you can drive 6 hours in any direction basically, and you're either gonna hit the coast or you're gonna hit another part of Texas. Right. So in Austin's even worse. Austin is like 8 hours anyway, and you're still in Texas. But if I drive, 3 hours north of here, I can get to Boston, or I can go to like Rhode Island or something like that. I can go to whole other states, right? It's kind of crazy to me. Like although I will say going straight up north in New York, it does take a while to get to Canada, and I will give them that. New York is a pretty tall state, relative to its neighboring states. Honestly, um, I'd be curious to know if it's longer to drive from tip to tip in New Jersey than it is for New York tip to tip. I'm gonna guess so. I should look that up, honestly. I'll get back to you guys on that. Don't worry. But yeah, it's want to do some more traveling. Want I've never been in a state more north than Connecticut, technically, and like New York. That's the highest north I've gone on the Northeast. I need to get up to Massachusetts, Get some Rhode Island in. Is Delaware north of New York? It's next to Rhode Island, isn't it? It's south. Okay. I need to get to Mass. Need to get to Rhode Island. Need to get to um, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Those are my last ones for the corner, and then I've got the corner slot done for the U.S. map. This is a complete subject change. I just saw this and I've been wanting to talk about this one. I am convinced that toilet companies, there's a conspiracy that they're purposely making the screws on the toilet lids and the toilet seats on the back of them that put them into the actual commode. I am convinced that they purposely make those bad so that they get loose and you have to buy new ones. I have had mine in not even a year and it is loose as fuck. And I don't move around that much. I'm not a shaker. Okay. I'm not a dancer when I'm using it. So I don't understand why it's gotten so loose. And I think, and it's not even like the actual, I don't think the screws are out. It's like the actual like holder for the screw wherever it's going in is just absolutely shot. So I don't feel like taking my lid entirely off, like the toilet seat entirely off to check it out and to fix it, but I already know I'm gonna have to, which sucks ass. But whatever. It is what it is, honestly. Yeah, we're just moving and grooving. Honestly, I think I'm gonna call it here. It's been about 30 minutes. Pretty good time. I hope you guys enjoyed this little excursion into the mind of me. This has been Sound for Your Ears. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to check us out at Bay One Entertainment on Instagram. All the episodes are going to be coming out on bay1entertainment.com, which is our website. They'll be coming out a week before they come out on YouTube, but they will be dropping at the same time on Spotify and Apple Music or Apple Podcasts for audio only. If you want to see the video as soon as it comes out, make sure to go to our website, bay1entertainment.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Mophead Records. You can also, like I said, follow the Instagram, Bay1 Entertainment, BAYONE Entertainment. And then, a week later, you'll get it on YouTube. But I highly recommend you get it when it comes out because there won't be this little intro that says, hey, this is from last week's episode. If you want to see it a week early, blah, blah, blah. If you don't want to hear that at the beginning and you just want to get straight to the episode, check it out on our website. You can also see our reel. You can see everything everything else we're putting out. We'll be putting out sketches on there. We'll be putting out all the other podcasts on there. We're really trying to start putting out more content from us to you so you can know who we are and know what we do. Thanks again for watching. I hope you got done what you need to get done today. And this has been Sound for Your Ears. Thanks again.